Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I just want to talk about this whole issue of mandatory vaccination. That is the vaccination mandate made by the government, kind of indirectly in some ways, because they are not forcing the entire country to be vaccinated directly, but what they are doing is that through your organization. So if you are working for government in a whole lot of places, you need to get vaccinated if you want to keep your job. Understand? So you would need to get vaccinated if you want your job to remain. You don't want to lose your job. If you don't want to become destitute, you will need to get vaccinated. And not just only that, there are some private companies that are doing that too. Understand? Now, the way I see this thing is just something that it actually speaks of something that is in the psyche of Nigerians, especially our leaders. Like, because of all the corruption and all the issues that we have in this nation, and how the Europeans and the Americans, and generally speaking the Western countries, see us as a country full of corruption, as a country full of, not a country ruled by law, but a country ruled by all sorts of terrible actions. You understand? So it's kind of like a way of them trying to seek legitimacy with all those countries out there, especially in the United Nations. So they do all these stupid things that, generally speaking, if you're trying to do something, it should be something that your country, that is the members of your country or the citizens of your country, have interest in. So, and a very good example is this issue of climate change. Nobody in Nigeria cares about climate change, sincerely speaking. But you will see the president and you see the members of the administration going around, maybe at the United Nations, at different other conferences around the world, pledging the country to try to, save the planet and all of those things like that. I'm not saying that you should do things that will be detrimental to the climate or that will be detrimental to the safety of human beings on the planet. But what I'm trying to say is that there are some things that they are not the things that are foremost in the minds of regular Nigerians. Most Nigerians just want to get by. Most Nigerians just want to feed. Most Nigerians want to be able to make ends meet. Most Nigerians want to be able to feed their family. And that's just the basic thing. Let the economy be okay. Let there be jobs. And Nigerians are okay. That's basically what Nigerians are trying to do. But you are trying to compare us with all those countries that they are not starving. It is completely impossible for you to starve to death in the United States, for example. Those developed countries, you can't starve to death even if you are not working. Like, if you are a complete lazy bum, you are not doing anything whatsoever, checks from the government will keep coming and you can still feed. You will not go hungry. So you can understand that, compared to somebody that is still working in Nigeria and is barely being able to eat even 2 square, let alone 3 square meals. You understand what I'm trying to say? Then you have our government, instead of focusing on those important things, they go all around pledging to stupid things all around the world. Now that's going to bring me back to this whole vaccine mandate that I'm just talking about. Where did this whole thing of the vaccine mandate come from? Where did it come from? It came from all these Western countries yet again, because these are the only countries in the world that take this whole COVID pandemic all that seriously. I don't believe there's any African nation. I'm not talking about those ones in the north. Those ones, I don't really consider them Africans. Really, they're only Africans in the sense that they're part of the African continent, but generally speaking, in the culture, not all that well. So I'm talking about Egypt, I'm talking about Algeria, I'm talking about Morocco. Those ones, yeah, they're actually Arabs. They are not really part of the African race, generally speaking. Now, what I'm trying to say is that there's this issue where in Africa, generally speaking, no one really cares about this thing. That's just the fact. Case in point, Nigeria. Have you ever seen any Nigerian person on the street who is losing sleep over COVID-19? Even last year, when the whole thing was up and there was lockdown and all those things, nobody really cared about it. Generally speaking, nobody cared about it. And in fact, a whole lot of people believe that it was just a conspiracy and all of that. I don't believe it was a conspiracy. The virus exists. But what I mean is that our reaction towards the virus does not make any sense. That's what I'm trying to say. If, like, in Nigeria, it's even still better. In a lot of ways, it's a whole lot better. But in all those developed countries, the way they are going crazy over that is just mind-boggling. For example, in Australia, they lock down every single thing. Like, nobody can move outside. You can't go anywhere. If you go out of your house, the police will come arrest you. You understand? The police will come arrest you, charge you, you have to pay a fine and all of that just for stepping out of your house or going over the other side of the street or whatever, or going over to the park. It's that serious. Imagine that being done in Nigeria. Now, thank God we are not doing that here. We are not going all that crazy. But what I'm trying to say is that the reason why they are bringing up all this mandate thing is that they want the international community to think that Nigeria is a country that takes those things seriously. Because if the government doesn't do that, outside they are going to rank Nigeria as one of the unsafe countries for COVID-19. So they are going to start preventing some of their diplomats and some of their people that might want to come here for maybe tourism or whatever reason to come, because they are going to scare those people into thinking that Nigeria is very dangerous, COVID-wise. They already do that for us when it comes to Boko Haram and all of that, and I guess that makes a lot of sense because we have a lot of insecurity in Nigeria with all these bandits, Boko Haram and everything, herdsmen and all sorts of crazy things going on here. So I understand why it would make sense for the United States to tell its citizens that they should be wary of coming over to Nigeria, which is something that they actually put in the State Department. That is the State Department's website of the United States. They want their citizens to be careful of coming over here. So it's part of all those things, and also for investors, foreign investors and all of those things like that, they will be kind of not so happy to invest in countries that are not taking the whole thing of COVID very seriously, especially when all those companies and all those investors tend to be kind of left-leaning. By that I mean they tend to agree with the Democratic Party in the United States, and the way that the COVID is like an apocalypse, like everything is coming down. Wow, COVID is so dangerous and all those things like that. So those are those people that the government is trying to signal to that Nigeria is serious about this thing. We are serious about this. We are taking it very seriously, and that's why we are trying to mandate this thing, even though we are mandating it in a kind of underhanded way. But at least we are doing it. We are taking some steps. We are taking it seriously, because whether you like it or not, Nigeria is one of the countries that has the lowest levels of vaccination in the world. Even in Africa, we are like at the bottom, largely at the bottom. The last time I checked, only 2% of the population. We have over 200 million people in Nigeria. Only 2% of the population is vaccinated. Like, maybe it has moved up to maybe 3%, who knows by now. But generally speaking, it's very, very low compared to many other countries in the world, especially, even in Africa, generally speaking, vaccination levels in Africa is very low. But even in the context of Africa, we are one of the lowest in proportion to the population and all of that. So that's basically one of the reasons why they're taking it very, very seriously. But what I'm just trying to say is that the government of a country should be able to stand firm and do things that will make life easier for the citizens of that country, and that is not what Nigerian government is doing. I'm not even talking about the executive arm only. I'm talking about generally the entire, the executive, the legislative also. So that's the problem. They don't really look out for our own good. They are trying to signal to all those countries out there and saying, oh, we are very good and all of that. So that's the issue I'm trying to say. And then you need to bring in the whole issue of the fact that the vaccines are not even as effective as it was sold out to be. And this is one of the things that some people are saying. Now, I understand there are some people that have the conspiracy theories that you are being injected with chips and all of those things, Bill Gates, all those conspiracy theories and all of that. That's not the issue. I'm not even talking about those people who believe that. And I understand there are some denominations that believe that, and I guess those people should be given a waiver, at least, okay, on religious basis, you don't have to take the vaccine. Even in those countries where they mandate it, they still carve out that particular aspect for some people. Okay, if your religion doesn't permit it, no problem. You are taking the risk, that's on your own. But what I'm trying to say is that in Nigeria, they don't even give out any caveats like that. They are not even giving out any sort of, okay, if you are part of this particular denomination, or if you have these beliefs or whatever, if you are concerned about the safety of the vaccine and all of that, okay, no problem. Everybody must take it as long as you are working at some specific organizations. That's what I'm trying to say. And this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They are not looking at the data. They are not looking at the justification for any of these things. They're just doing it simply because that is what the countries out there are doing. So we just base our policies on the policies of the United Kingdom or the policies of the United States. That's basically what we are doing. We are not really reasoning through these things. We are not doing that. We're just doing. I mean, consider if you really want to say that it is so necessary for us to take vaccines and mandate vaccines for people in Nigeria. Think about the statistics. According to the CDC, at this very moment, more than a year, we still have less than 3,000 people having died from COVID-19 in Nigeria, according to their own data. I'm not saying that's the complete thing. I'm not saying that there are not some cases where people died from it and were not recorded. I'm just talking about their own cases. In the United States, you have over 600,000 people recorded that have died from COVID. So that makes a little bit of sense. But in Nigeria, 200 million people. The United States has 330 million people. We are very close in population to those people. And out of that, we have only had how many cases of deaths? 3,000. 3,000, less than 3,000 deaths in a country of 201 million is what is making you necessitate vaccine for everybody. Does it make any sense at all? It doesn't. That's what I'm trying to say. They are not looking at the data. They are not even following their own data. Based on their own data, they have no justification for doing that. And that is why I'm saying the only reason they are doing it is because they're trying to virtue signal. That means that they are trying to show yourself as being, so virtuous, so good people and all of that to the international community. That's basically what they're trying to do. That's the only reason they're doing it. Just like I said, that's the only reason why Nigeria is pledging anything to the climate and all of those things. Because what all those climate change and whatever advocates are doing is that the things that developing countries like Nigeria would need to develop, like we need coal, we need petroleum, especially when our economy depends a lot on petroleum, on crude oil, and then you are going over to sign agreement to say that we are going to lower our carbon emissions and all of those things like that. It's like you're trying to kill our economy if you really take those things seriously. Apart from the fact that, the only reason is just that they don't take it seriously. They just sign those things and mouth off and talk about how they are committed to all those things and come back and not do it. So it's just about mouthing up. It's just about showing and trying to posture as if you are committed to those things. Only that in this case of COVID-19, they're actually trying to take some steps to show the world that, okay, we are serious about this particular issue. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make any sense. And also, most of the population are not even at a dire threat. We're not even at a serious threat from this thing to start with. We're not even at a serious threat from it. The people who are at serious threat from this thing are the old people. Instead, you are disturbing the working class people with the vaccine. The people you should be protecting with the vaccine are the old people. The people that are over 65, 70 and above, especially those at the 80 range and above. Those are the people you should try to protect, not 20-something, 30-something, 40-something, who are essentially they're essentially at negligible risk from the vaccine, as long as you are not unreasonably fat, which is of course is a comorbidity that is going to increase your chances of having serious illness from COVID-19 if you get it. If you are unreasonably fat, which is a problem, like most Africans don't believe that is a problem. Like being unreasonably fat, being morbidly obese is a serious threat. If you have COVID, it is going to affect you a lot more than somebody that is healthy, because being fat is not healthy. I know a lot of people believe that it is healthy in Nigeria. It is not healthy. It is against your health. It is a very serious risk of heart disease. Like you are going to be at a serious risk of heart disease if you are unnecessarily fat. So those are the things that you should be looking at, and you should be tranching out the vaccine based on those people who are more vulnerable to it. That's even if you want to do that. But instead, they don't even care. They're just making it mandatory for everyone. Everyone. It does not matter what the case may be, as long as you're an adult and all of those things, you just need to take the vaccine and all of that. And especially if you are working in some organizations, especially government organizations. So those are the problems. We really need to look into all these things. Nigeria really needs to get this thing into their heads. Let's stop being copycats. We really need to stop being copycats, because it is not favoring us. It just doesn't make any sense. Just being copycats, the virus is not dangerous for the majority of the population, because we don't have an aging population in Nigeria. We have a very young population in this country. very, very young population. So it's not like a country like China or like Italy where they have so many old people, and so mandating for everybody would make sense in those cases. But in Nigeria, we have a very young population, and even the old people are not even asking for it, because this thing is something that, okay, if people want, let them take it. It has to be something that is voluntary. Okay, if I want it, I mean, considering my own risk factors, okay, it is more risky for me to expose myself to COVID-19 than to get the vaccine. No problem, I will take the vaccine. Okay, I think I'm okay with my own natural immunity to fight off the vaccine. I'm okay with any of the consequences that come after if I don't take the vaccine. You should be allowed to do that. But no, so many things are involved. So I don't know. We really need to get this thing into our heads. And then you have so many other elite Nigerians saying that the government is not getting serious about the vaccination enough, that they should mandate it even much more, make it much more serious and all of those things. I'm like, come on, get your heads out of the gutter, get your heads into reality, leave people alone to take their own decisions. If you are vaccinated, don't disturb others. If you really believe the vaccinations are good, then don't disturb others. Get vaccinated, leave them alone. They don't want the vaccinations. If there's any consequences to their actions, leave them alone, let them face it. But again, the fact is that you don't trust the vaccine. If you trust the vaccine, you will not be trying to mandate it on those people who have not taken it. And then there are actually reasons why some might not trust the vaccine, because, for example, the Pfizer, of course, we don't have the Pfizer in Nigeria, or at least I don't think we have the Pfizer in Nigeria. We have Moderna, we have AstraZeneca. But so the issue is that the Moderna, the AstraZeneca, I mean the Pfizer, rather, is not very good at preventing breakthrough infections to people who have taken the vaccine. So even though you have taken the vaccine, if you took the Pfizer vaccine and then you are exposed to COVID, it's not as effective to prevent you from getting COVID the second time. It's going to prevent you from getting a serious illness from it, but it is not as effective for you to get COVID. So if you are saying that, okay, those people who are not infected, who have not gotten the vaccines are the ones spreading COVID. But if you took the Pfizer vaccine, you are almost as likely to spread COVID at the same rate as people who are not even vaccinated. Now, you may not have a serious case, but it's still spreading through you also. That's just basically the case. For the Moderna, it's a little bit more durable at preventing a spread of COVID, but it's not foolproof. You can still get COVID even though you are vaccinated. That's just the reality. So why disturb those people who don't want it anyways? Because even if they get it, they may get a breakthrough case. So what's the point? What is the point? That's what I'm trying to say. What's the point? Especially in a country where people are not concerned about it. I understand in countries like maybe Germany, in countries like maybe the United States, UK, where people are concerned about COVID. The average Nigerian doesn't give a crap about COVID. So leave us alone. That's basically my point. Leave us alone. And that's just what I'm going to be saying. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's really going to help the channel to grow. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Again, subscribe to the channel. Bye.